All right, so episode 4 of the Be More podcast, and today we've got our very own Camilla Ainsworth, so aka the Yoo-Hoo girl from The Apprentice when she was 22. We'll come back to that in a minute. So Be More podcast is all about helping people be more in themselves, getting amazing guest speakers on, such as Camilla, that's next to me, and helping inspire other people to go and do awesome things with life and change lives ultimately. So welcome Camilla.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here, James.
Awesome. So you're kind of like the creator of this as well. So it's a bit of a biased one today, but
it is best till last,
best till last.
But I'm looking forward to getting into it and sharing some value with you.
Awesome. Right. I'm going to start off with the easy bits.
Yeah.
So, for you guys who don't know who Camilla Ainsworth is, at 22, she was the youngest ever on The Apprentice and the youngest finalist.
Yep, still both. To this day, youngest finalist.
Yep, and she was named a top 10 women to watch by Business Insider and Starling Bank. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long ago was the Starling Bank one though?
I think that was 2 years ago. So I'm dining out on that for the next 5 years.
We need another one coming in now, don't we?
I left the date off on purpose on my bio. But yeah, you need someone a bit more current on the podcast.
Right. So as always, you're the one who's made me do these for everyone else. So you're going to get the quickfire questions today. So Camilla, Karen or Claude from The Apprentice?
Claude.
Pitching or negotiating?
You know what? Negotiating, actually. I flip between what I think on this topic, but I love a car boot sale. I know Brian mentioned car boot sales, but I love negotiating. Like, I love both, to be honest, which is a little bit unusual. But I think...
kind of the same in a way, though, aren't
yeah.
they? Mm.
What would you say?
You're a very good, cunning negotiator, and you're very good at it. You're good at both. You're good at pitching and negotiating.
Thank you. What would you?
And when I say cunning, I mean in a good way.
Yeah, sly. She's a sly bitch.
No, very, very cunning. Sorry, go on.
What would you say for your answer? I know you're the host, but
I'd say I've not had to negotiate with you, really, to be honest.
No, that's true.
I've only known you to really pitch ideas to me for the hub. So
yeah.
So I'd say a pitcher, but I'm not saying you couldn't be a negotiator either.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Okay, next, let's have it.
Risk taker or play it safe?
Risk taker every day of the week.
Yeah. So power suit boss bitch or casual chick?
I mean, I've gone casual chic today, but I would normally go for the power suit. Like Bryony in her power suit was looking 10-10. So I think power suit because I think...
boss babe vibes.
Yeah, look the part, become the part.
Okay. So if you had to sell one product forever, Camilla, what would it be? You can't say the hub.
Toilet roll. Although the hub would be a close second, it's an easy sell. Toilet roll, evergreen product. Everyone's always going to need it.
That's very true. Very true. So were you one of the lockdown toilet roll people?
I was not. I can confirm I wasn't. However, I did, when I was looking into stocks and shares, I wanted to invest in, Kimberly Clark. It's like they do toilet roll holders and like really boring stuff, but they're things that are overlooked. Like no one ever looks at where your toilet roll goes, but the share price for Kimberly Clark is ridiculous. So there's it's a fact. It's not that fun.
Did you have a stock of it then? Or?
No, I was never a hoarder, but I have a phobia of supermarkets. I hate going in supermarkets. Far too busy, and I feel like it's sensory overload.
Okay, I'm going to ask a trivial question here.
Yeah.
If you couldn't get any toilet roll, what's the next thing you'd use?
Ooh. God, that's hard. If I couldn't get any toilet roll, well, an easy swap, and this is a bit of a cheat, is kitchen roll. Like, it's...
You can't flush that, though.
I do. I would.
Are you one of them people that causes a lot of hotels and places to stay with a lot of problems?
Yeah,
I thought so. Yeah. But it's flushed away, you don't know about it. And by the time you've gone there, you get the problem and you're flying home back to the UK.
No, now I sound like a bitch.
Right. So lose with dignity or fight to the death?
Fight to the death. Yeah.
Fight to death.
Fight to the death.
So, yeah, I'd be the same. So who's tougher to impress? Clients or Lord Sugar?
Lord Sugar, definitely. I feel like he has got high standards quite rightly because he's such a high value individual. I don't think I'll ever get over like being in the same room as him.
How did you feel when you first met him? What did he make you feel like?
And
did he make you feel like however it's going to feel, I'm sure you're going to tell me in a second, but was it because you knew him as Lord Sugar Famous, or did he was it different to what you thought? Like,
he's just king of the dad joke, and I love a dad joke. You know how you love a pun?
Yeah.
Like, Lord Sugar is a walking, talking pun. He's just a punny guy. And I was just like, the production crew would have to tell me off for like laughing too much, because I was literally like, I look like such a brown nose, because I'm there like, pick me for your £250,000 investment. But he was just a genuinely funny guy. But he did make me like uneasy for the first few weeks, because I'm just like, this is someone whose books I've read all of the books from cover to cover, and just found him massively inspiring. So at 22, to be in a room with your hero, and they say don't meet your heroes, was a pretty big thing for me.
And you're glad you met him? So
glad. And he didn't disappoint.
So while we're on the kind of subjects of the producers and stuff, so you kind of did quite a bit of famous rounds on Instagram, going a bit of viral here and there.
Yes.
So the one I've seen, it's a meme. It says how not to do an interview.
Yeah.
So let me just paint the scene for everyone, and then you can tell them a bit more background. So if you've not already seen it, we'll put the link into the bio below, or whatever it's called. Is it a bio?
It's like show notes.
Show notes, posh words. So in the show notes below, we'll put the YouTube link to this. So basically, Camilla walks in, Claude is there, and she walks and goes, "Yoo-hoo." So that's how you became the Yoo-hoo girl. And then you went, Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did that happen?
To set the scene, I feel like 22 years old, you don't know your arse from your elbow at that age. Like, I certainly did not know how to go in to the biggest interview of my life and what to say. But rest assured, I had every intention in going into that interview saying, "Good afternoon, Claude." And instead, the word Yoo-hoo came out. And I have to say, like, it's testament to the fact that, like, I was authentic on the show, because I am a very, like, out there person. Like, I sent you a voice note this morning. I was like, "Good morning, Twinkle Toes."
Yep.
Like, he could have easily been called Twinkle Toes. So I actually think he got off quite lightly with a Yoo-hoo. But I think
the first voice note you ever sent me was something to do with my boxers.
Was it?
Yeah. Do you know
Please give some context here, because
it wasn't like it wasn't like a sexual reference. just to be clear.
Intrigued.
No, you sent me a voice note. It was like,
I know why it was, because you were going on holiday, and I said something like,
"I hope you packed your boxes or something." I was
I was saying,
okay.
What was I saying?
By the way, we were just chatting to potentially work together. I didn't even know her.
Yeah.
And then she asked me if I packed my boxes or something like that.
Something along those lines. We'll find out, because I feel like that makes me sound like a bit of a predator. But I'll find out what it is. I've got the memory of a sieve. But yeah, I feel like that was something that could have been a career, not even a career ruiner, because obviously it made the rounds. People, had their opinion on it. And at the end of the day, I just thought, you know what? Personality and authenticity always prevails. If there's one lesson in it, I think it's that. And
do you not think there's too much of a perceived image of what business people should be like now?
And I feel like we've created a problem wherein normal people, like, that are, aspiring to be an entrepreneur, they think that there's too big a gap between themselves and entrepreneurs. But you and I, we're just normal. Like, you come out of the toilet sometimes.
Normal's probably not the word for us
normal
both,
isn't the word. But like,
from a normal background.
Yeah. I would attest to that point as well.
We're far from normal, aren't we?
I feel like we're part of the problem. If we try and be too polished and perfect, then we're not relatable for the everyday person that's aspiring to be an entrepreneur. So I feel like, things like saying Yoo-hoo, being authentic, you being yourself, and proving that you don't have to be this polished person to be successful.
In a suit and a tie, or, like a pencil skirt or something like that everyone thinks you have to be in an office.
And that's why, like, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, people are like, well, I could never be like him because he's a special person. It's like, no, he's just a normal person who has done amazing shit. And you can be that person.
It might be judgmental, but if someone comes to, like, pitch something to me and they're wearing a full suit and tie, I feel like there's something dodgy going on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Because
I don't feel very comfortable with it.
So with your work culture within the hub, if someone rocked up in, like, a tracksuit, would you be asked, like, a staff member?
Well, that's their kit.
Yeah, that's their
uniform.
They
have to wear pajamas pretty much every day.
Yeah, I've
worked...
Black
pajamas with the Transworld logo?
If I came into the hub wearing pajamas, you wouldn't say anything. They're not branded.
Well, I'd say something because it'd be funny, but I wouldn't be like...
Yeah.
Well, no, it depends. If it's just working in the back office, you're not on call. Yeah. Wear what?
Yeah, wear what you're
It'd
comfortable
be funny.
with.
It's just a conversation to start, isn't it? Because I'm not, I'm take my work seriously, but I'd never do that myself.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of companies now in 2024, the kind of industries that we're in, I think work from home has become massive, and also like no dress code. Like, and I genuinely don't think there's a correlation between like what you wear and what work you put out into the world. I think you could wear whatever you want.
I had the same conversation with someone about why do kids need to wear school uniforms, and I was a bit against it. But then someone said to me, "No, and it was back years and years and years ago." For the kids that were really poor and they couldn't afford their own clothes, it meant that no one would be judged and segmented. So I actually, as a kid, it's hard, isn't it? So I think I actually really like that. And I've seen it different about school uniforms since.
Yeah, I like that. And they say, Steve Jobs and Stephen Bartlett's
You have shit trainers on and you're getting rinsed at school, aren't you?
Yeah, kids are brutal. I'm sorry, but I think adults can be brutal, but children, because they've got no filter. I feel like
I remember my mum tried to put me in some Admirals from Sainsbury's or whatever it was at Tesco, and I was like, "No, mum, I'll get killed.
I will get ripped
killed
to shreds." I like.
I'll get bullied forever.
Yeah, I love how young people don't give a fuck, and then old people don't give a fuck. It's just this middle part of our lives where we care too much what people think. At what age were you when you stopped caring what people think? Or do you still care? This is how I'm actually.
It depends what it's about. So, I think. Before I was as self-aware as I am now, I think that I think the deep down reason, if I did care, was because I probably hadn't done it to the best of my ability. But now I do everything and then if someone tries to judge me for it, I don't give a fuck because I genuinely I know I'm good at what I do, and and it's okay to still make some mistakes. Depends what it is.
Yeah.
It depends if someone's trying to judge my integrity.
Okay. Mark out of 10 these 3 things that people might like judge you on. So how bothered are you if people were to like judge you on your appearance or say something nasty about your appearance? Mark from 1 to 10 how much that would bother you out of 10.
1.
Okay, great. Your business.
It's actually, if someone said I'm putting on a bit of weight, probably an 8.
That's very self-aware. That's very honest. Yeah.
But I think a bit of, I personally, I'm not saying this is right for everyone else, I need a bit of fat shaming to motivate me sometimes.
Interesting.
If someone says you're getting a bit chunky, I don't go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I'm accepted that, I accept that it's, and that, I'm into fitness.
Because I think some people react to like comments so differently. So obviously I think you've got a thick skin. I've definitely got a thick skin. And stuff like that does motivate me as well. But to someone else, that could literally ruin their day, destroy them. Whereas we use it as the fuel to our fire, don't we? Yeah. What about marks out of 10? How bothered you'd be if someone was to criticize your business model?
It depends what they were criticizing and how.
All of it. They say Transform Hub franchise is shite.
I feel triggered already.
Yeah, see? Triggered. It's a 10. It's a 10.
Depends who it was coming from. If it was coming from someone I respect and has actually achieved something, then, I'd feel shit. Yeah, because I'd be like, well, what? Because I genuinely believe we're doing an amazing, outstanding job for all.
Disclaimer, I'm not saying that. I'm just being the...
No. So, but if it was someone that, is keyboard warrior online that's achieved nothing, then it's laughable. It's,
of course. So. This is a quote that I love, and it's, you'll never be mocked by someone that's doing more than you, because...
Never. They've not got time.
Yeah, exactly. They're
and
already...
They don't care.
They're looking at the next thing that they can do. They're not even looking what you're doing. So I just feel like you're always going to get the naysayers, the woulda, shoulda, coulda
Let
brigade.
everyone else, let your success do the talking.
100%. Yeah, I love that. And I think, what's one thing... I'm going into interviewer mode now, but what's one thing that has really changed the trajectory of like you being more in the last year? Like, what's one thing that you've like really implemented? It can be in business or in life that you think you've changed or tweaked in the last year. Because I've seen, even in the last year with the franchise, the growth has been exponential. You must put that down to like something. Like, what would you say?
That everything you do in life to get more is just doing more, and it's just going, I am not doing as good as I can. And I think you're always going to have things that you can keep working towards, but you could be doing 10 times more right now. And it's just having no limits.
Yeah. Controversial one. The
Going,
opinion
just push,
that you
push.
hold, though, you don't believe in work-life balance, really, do you? So talk a little bit more about that. Like, what does work-life balance look like to you?
Well, I think to me personally, and someone else might have a different belief on this, but me personally, work-life balance is, you kind of foot slightly in the door, but you've got other priorities too. So you're never going to be able to hyper focus on one thing and excel at it if you're not putting your heart and soul into it. So I can't remember who said this. I can't remember. This is not my saying, but someone said it's work-life integration. You have to be all in. Like, I think what I see is people trying to do too many projects. They're trying to do too many different things, or their expectations of what they want out of life, but what they want to actually do in life and how they want to work is very far removed from the reality. So, I'll say it all the time. So, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to get my freedom back. I want to travel the world. Like, wait, so you want to travel the world, have freedom, not have a stable place you can work for? I'm not saying there's not some, online people that can do this, but in general, if you want to have an amazing world-class and life-changing business for everyone that's involved, you need to be present and be there and lead, right? And you're going to be working 12-hour days. You're going to be getting up, and it's going to be the first thing you think about, and it's going to be the last thing you think about before you go to bed.
Yeah.
So if you can switch yourself off between 9 and 5, you're probably not that, like, you have to be completely obsessed with it to go forward, but I think you've also, I don't know if that's a curse or greatness really, but sometimes I envy people that can be like that, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just me personally, how I'm wired.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm literally in interviewer mode now.
Yeah,
I literally just feel like, because this
is quite, I'm just going to see you.
Just rip it up. Go
I will
on.
come back to you.
Rip it up.
Do you know what the funny thing was when we were doing like the practice for this? She's like, right. So you're interviewing anyway. 2 questions in, I start getting interviews. So like, oh, the Gestapo's come out now. So
literally, but I love it. I feel like it's nice to hear what you have to say, because a lot of the conversations that you have, it's about the other person. But I feel like, what you've got to say is really inspiring and interesting as well. Here's a question for you. So, nature-nurture debate. Would you say that entrepreneurs are built that way? So they're born entrepreneurial, they've got that in their DNA? Or do you think that, anyone can become an entrepreneur by their nurture, by who they surround themselves with? Do you think it's innate, or do you think it's learnt behavior?
I think you're even an entrepreneur or you're not. And then, but I think people that are not entrepreneur can still have a business. Like, you can still be self-employed, have your own business, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to take over the world. So I think, grit, like, if it's the first thing you think about when you get up, and you want to be successful as much as you want to breathe, then I think that's in you, or it's not.
Yeah.
You can't, the amount of people I've tried to coach into business, and you end up wanting it more for them than they want it for themselves, and you can't. The people that have been the most successful I've worked with, I've coached gym owners, business owners, our own franchises. The ones that do the best are the ones that you don't need to push. You just nudge them in the right direction, and they just roll with it.
Yeah,
they don't need hand holding.
Yeah, love that. Great, fab. So yeah, when it comes to being more as the host, for the whole of the listeners that are here listening in to this episode, what would you say? What one piece of advice would you give them to being more, whether that's in business, in their personal life, in their relationships?
I think go and sit in your bed or another chair and just shut your eyes and just ask yourself, am I being the best I can be? And you'll get a hard answer. Just sit in silence, put your phone down, and just sit with yourself and go, am I being that person?
Yeah, I love that. And start looking introspectively.
Yeah.
Especially
Get rid of your excuses. Like, I'm not saying people haven't got problems, but everyone has problems in their life. And there's one thing guaranteed: if you use them as the excuse, you're never going to be successful. Like Andy that was in with us before, blown up in Afghanistan, ex-Marine, had his leg amputated. He could have said, well, that's live. I'm screwed now. He went on to become, world record holder, run it, all these sorts of other things. You can either use it to fuel you to get yourself out of these holes or not.
Yeah.
And the choice is yours.
Love it. What a great thing to enter 2025 with, armed with that knowledge.
Absolutely. Right, one quick question for you, Camilla, before I wrap up. Right, two actually. So, what's your biggest business superpower? Super quick.
Superpower, being gregarious, getting on with people and leveraging connections. And I just feel like the older I've got, the more I've realized that like your personality can just be that superpower, because it really does like just put you in rooms with the right people and gives you the confidence to be able to leverage on that. So then the final one, in 2025, what's the biggest challenge you've set yourself to do? Mount Kilimanjaro. So February, what date is it? 19th of February. I'm doing Mount Kilimanjaro, which will be crazy. Mentally,
Why
physically.
Are you doing it?
I'm doing it because I actually lost one of my best friends to suicide last year. And I feel like it was something that she would have absolutely loved to have done. She would have loved the opportunity to do Mount Kilimanjaro. So I feel like I'm doing it for her. I'm doing it for, the struggle that I feel on the mountain, mentally, physically, emotionally, is nothing compared to what very many people feel every day and what she felt. So I feel like I'm doing it for myself, but also for Thea. And just knowing that she would be so proud. Oh. So yeah. Thank you so much. Awesome. So that's the wrap up for today. So thank you to Yoo-Hoo Girl, aka Camilla Ainsworth. And hopefully I'll have on again very soon. Thank you very much. Love that. Cheers.